How's it going, everybody? It's me and Scotty here. We're going to be breaking down this week's events for you because this is going to be a very important week in Marvel Strike Force. We got the first event that's going to be awarding Gear Tier 20 for the Professor X unlock that is coming, I guess, sometime soon, the end of March, maybe early April. I'm assuming we're going to get an announcement on that soon. But this is also a pretty big litmus test, right? Like, how competitive this leaderboard will show the health of the game at the high end. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Right on.
We got new Krakens.
We get that new Kraken energy. Will they keep the game alive for me and you to just keep siphoning off the fun that we can? Well, let's go ahead. Let's find out. We're going to start with the events that are not tied to the Gear Tier 20. So this is the 7th Voyage. We're just battling in Blitz with city characters, and we're using, of course, the goated Shield Medic. This one is pretty easy for us to max out, is it?
Yeah, so this is the second week of the 7th anniversary event, so it's very similar to last week. Bonus points for just blitzing once with the 7 yellow shield medic. You don't actually have to do that to max the points because the total you need is 180k.
Okay.
And you actually end up with like over 240k in the end. But I guess like if you already have them, like it's a way to like get through it quicker. And then battling with any city character, you can do this in Blitz. The ones that you're using in War, CC, it all counts. Like I think I maxed it in like the first day without trying.
Yeah.
Last time. And then it's the completing daily objectives is still there. I assume it'll still just be the 20k points in the complete all daily objectives that's been there before. If you listen to me last time and saved your daily objectives, you technically have like an extra day bank, so you can save it again tomorrow.
But it's not
and then
necessary.
It's not necessary. It's just like if you want to just like get a little bit further. Like the character shards are better this time because last time it was Weaver, which I think most people either have maxed, or if you don't, it's not really a character that people are building at this point. But this week, I think it's Peggy that I saw in there. More beneficial. It's not like a lot, but at least it's like a character people
won't have maxed out at the very least. All right, not mad at that. Then we got the 7th year bash. This one is going to be doing the showcase energy stuff. I nearly failed this. I had to run to you, tail between my legs, and say, Scotty, I didn't realize these events were even live. What do I have to do to max this out? And you said, don't worry, it's pretty easy. Does it remain the case?
Yeah, so it's the same amount where we need 30k total in a week. Like this was similar to the showcase last month, but we needed usually about 20k. Sometimes it was a 7-day event, sometimes it was a 6-day event, but there was only one campaign feeding into it. So it's a little bit higher this time, but now we have 2 campaigns feeding into it. So the max you need is 30k, but without spending any cores, if you just spend your energy that you get every day, you get about 40k points.
Very
so like
nice.
People like you who didn't know that the campaign had started, luckily were way in excess of what you needed.
A good 30% cushion there.
But like there are some good things in those nodes. Like there's training material, like training orb fragments, which some people really need. There are Crimson uniques, like the minis, not the minis, but like the origin gear. So like if people are still like working towards Mephisto and Odin, like that can be helpful, like because there's a pretty decent amount in there. You can tell that they're really getting us ready for the next gear tier.
True. And then the first chapter of every phase in each showcase, on the last node of the first chapter, is going to be either a training module orb fragment node or a gold orb fragment node. And I've been farming the gold stuff because I ran out. 105, I got there. I saw the sunset. I have most of the characters I want at 105, and I have like 30,000 gold to show for it. So some great stuff to get from the showcase. Doesn't feel great to core those, but at least we can, min-max with some gold orbs and stuff like that. That's going to feed into this event here. This is the web event giving us these 7th year tokens. This is the monthly meta item, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing crazy here. I did want to point out there's like 350,000 gold and 55 of these L4 trading modules. Scopely, if you're listening, you could times those by 10. That's not good. That's not gonna hurt anybody to give 3.5 million gold and 500. Like I don't think I'm gonna complain about that. Anyway, just wanted to point that out in case anyone's watching. All right, the hero's journey. This is the big event of this week, right? This is going to be Battle in Cosmic Crucible, earn Hero's Journey Orb Fragments from the ISO 8 campaign. Now, we'll talk about what we assume the conversion rate that's going to be, the impact of having ISO 8 hoarded or for coring ISO 8. We'll have an exact number on how that's going to affect things. Go live in your Discord channel when we've had the exact fragments, so keep an eye out on the Discord. And then we're going to use Starjammers in Crucible at various star levels for the 2 characters that you can actually buy or core for. How do you feel about this sort of event structure? Because it feels like a little bit of a return to it's not overly convoluted, but we do have like 4 different inputs here, right? We have Battle in Cosmic Crucible, we have the ISO 8 campaign, we have Battle with Starjammers, and then we have the various star levels. We've had more complicated inputs before, but does this worry you at all that events are going to start going this way for Gear Tier 20?
I mean, this is what I would expect to see. I was actually a little bit surprised that you don't get extra point being Howard and Havoc at 7 yellow.
Oh, true. True.
Yeah, like usually it's like all the yellows that are there and they like stopped at 6. Which I guess is a little less pressure to be like, now you have to like max out these characters to compete, which is interesting. There is the use Starjammers in Cosmic Crucible, and you need to use them 5 times. Like obviously it's a team of 5, but like if you didn't buy Howard and you're not buying Havoc, then you only have 3, so you just have to use them like the 3 twice, and you'll get those points.
For sure.
But like everyone has Lilandra, so they included that, and like that's a pretty hearty amount of points, which is good for a character that everyone's going to have. Like I'm surprised they even had that as a point.
True. So a little bit a tip for you guys in your Cosmic Crucible battles. If you don't want to use the full Starjammer team, maybe you didn't build up Rocket, maybe you didn't build up Groot. If you build up Lilandra, which you have to do with Professor X, they did let us know that is a mandatory character. She can be used to stop Gladiator's taunts. There's a lot of different Annihilator teams on defense. Lilandra can step in there and really help you out. And if you did core to unlock Howard the Duck, he does stop enemy speed bar on spawn, but there's a bug. So the bug is essentially if you put Howard on defense and he takes a turn in one fight and then that fight ends and then they have to do a second hit, Howard's passive will not stop speed bar on that second fight. You'll still get a win from it if they don't play well into the anti-speed bar. But I'm using Howard on offense instead. I'm stopping enemy speed bar, then putting 4 really strong characters around him, doing fun stuff there. So if you don't have Rocket and Groot built up, but you're building the new guys up, they can be really strong plug-and-play characters. But that's a different video. Go check out the Crucible gameplay videos if you want to see how I'm using those guys to crush my opponents. But let's talk about event inputs here and what we can expect.
No, I think that is a good thing to input. Like if they're going to have to use the 3 to get these points, like is there a use that you can think of to suggest for people to use?
Yeah, for sure. So Lilandra against any sort of Cosmic Protector.
But all 3 of them. Use all 3 of them.
All 3 at once?
Yeah. Because you need to use all 3 twice. So that is what I want you to suggest.
Okay. So if you don't have them built, they'll work as a really good Mephisto burn attack. You just throw them in and utilize it. But if you know what you could do is if you have a really big Kahori and the enemy is throwing really easy crap into stages 3 or 6, you could do Kahori Shadow King with those 3 chuckleheads, and Kahori can carry them to a quick win. And that would be really good because Howard or Lilandra would still stop a Cosmic Protector if that's in stage 6. If you did get Howard for whatever reason, that would stop somebody like Scientist Supreme, making that fight infinitely easier. So you could pair them with 2 powerful characters, particularly Kahori and Shadow King for stages 3 or 6, and really like bang out an enemy while getting credit for those 3. All right, so why don't you now talk to us about the various tracks we can hope to get. We'll speculate a little bit on rankings for this, but this is like fresh slate for Professor X hype check. All right, what's the first one we're looking at here?
So this was like for people that did buy Howard to 6 and are gonna buy Havoc to 6. Right. Kind of just like I always give that like kind of what I think the higher limit will be without buying offers.
Yep.
And like obviously I don't know what the orb fragments drop per energy is. The points you get per orb fragment is quite low. Like the last event, like I said, was 6 points per orb fragment, and this is only 1.
Right.
But like the orbs aren't bad themselves for people that like need the characters that are in them, and like there's some gold and training materials. But I will, like, I posted this map, but I will update it tomorrow once I have like the official drop rate and I know what the daily claim is going to be as well.
Right. So make sure you check out the Discord, guys, for the exact changes, if anything is relevant. Like, who knows? Maybe we're gonna get 100 orb fragments for every one energy, and that would change things.
So this would get you to milestone 18 is what I worked out.
Yeah.
Like if you have them all max, and as long as we are getting at least 4 orb fragments per energy, like I think that's the minimum that they would do. Like hopefully it's better, but yeah.
All right, so that would be milestone 18. I do have the rewards right here. So that would be the third last. So like essentially, you still gonna have to buy offers to get those last 2 whalestones. 10 million gold in that track. That's really nice. We got some dark promotion credits. That's okay. It should be dark diamond by that point. And we got crimson gear orbs. Above that, we got lots of cool stuff. I know a lot of you, like myself, are now going to be getting annoyed with the Commander XP. I still think, hey, while it's the anniversary event and they're having all these promotions, just crapping out all this Commander XP is actually so good for new accounts coming up and for people just to like race through and start joining us in the end game raids and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. All right, you got a second track for us. This one, we are just going with 4 yellow star, yeah?
Yeah, like I think you still would have had to buy an offer because like I cored Howard to 3 and I don't know if I'll be able to get Havoc unless I get better luck than you've been getting.
Yeah.
But like this is maybe if you just bought like 1 offer, and that would get you to milestone 15, which still has some of the purple ISO,
Nice.
and so, like there was like 8 million gold there, I think. So
Milestone 15. I don't see 8 million gold. I see Crimson Secret Intel, Crimson Basic Catalyst parts.
keep going.
Oh, there it is, the 8 million gold. Why do they have it in 2 different...
I don't know. Because they
the
want me to
columns.
go cross-eyed looking at it.
8 million gold, nothing to sniff your nose at. And you know what? While looking at this, I had a thought. So, you don't get anything for having Havoc at 3-star unlock, right?
Correct.
I might just keep dumping cores into Howard. Because if I can get Howard to 4 yellow stars, I'll forfeit this week's Crucible, more than likely, by doing that. But I would get 12,000 additional points towards the leaderboards.
Yeah, for the leaderboard, but it won't get you to milestone 15.
No, but I can core ISO harder. I wouldn't get to milestone. I'm thinking leaderboards around. Because gear to 20, my wheels are churning. I'm not spending anymore. Well, I did spend on a pass to win a Crucible the other day. But an extra 12,000 points. We're going to talk about leaderboards here in a second, but that's an idea that I just had looking at this. But okay, let's continue on. This is if you have none of them at 4 yellow stars, but of course you should have the lander unlocked. That is free to play. This is getting us to what?
This was milestone 14.
Okay. Right on.
And this is just like the basic cores, like to get there. Like obviously, if the orb fragments per energy are really good, and like you really need the characters in there, and you really want the gold in the training mats, and it could place you higher on the leaderboard as well. Like you may be doing some 100 core refreshes. This is just like the basic that you would need to get the milestones based on this.
Right on. Well, before we go any further, let's go ahead and let's look at the orb then. I do have it pulled up. So this is the orb that you will be earning from the ISO 8 campaign energy. So the left pillar does have both gold and trading materials. Both had equal drop rates. You can get up to, I think it was what, 1.5 million gold on an 11% of 50%, so like a 5% drop rate there. Low end is 250,000. 250,000 didn't beat you very much. And then there is L4s as well. Low drop 10, high drop 50. I would have liked to see that 50 be more like 100. But there's that. So there's some good stuff there. The middle pillar actually does have some newer characters. So we do have Peggy Carter. If you didn't take advantage of that that orb issue, then you could still need Peggy Carter. Hercules, I think I just got so lucky with Hercules. I think I pulled 3 100 drops for him, which is just insane. But I assume most people still don't have Hercules anywhere near maxed out, right?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got super lucky there. And then there's Medusa as well. A newer character just made her way to the Battle World store, and she's been in the Ultimate store for a little bit. So 3 really new characters, and then we have a lower drop chance, or sorry, a higher drop chance of a bunch of other, new-ish tech characters. Dawkins and Deathpool in here. I don't know how they stuck in there. Someone didn't check the ID of these guys when they were trying to get in the club. But some pretty decent characters in that middle pillar, and then it looks like, you were bringing this up, the right pillar looks more like it's a Shadow King event is here. You need these guys at higher star levels in order to get the higher difficulties done and unlock a higher Shadow King. Here's how you could do it. So, how are you feeling about this orb? Me personally, I think just because I did take advantage of the Peggy Carter orb issue, and I did get super lucky with Hercules, I'm not very interested in coring this orb because the resources from the left pillar, it seems kind of sus. Like, they don't seem like they're going to give too much. How do you feel about this orb?
I like the gold and the training materials, but like I don't know how I'll feel until I see the drop rate. Like if it is magical and it's like double what I think it's going to be, then I'll be like, ooh, I like it.
True, and we don't know how many of the orb fragments we're going to get per energy either, which will obviously play a big part into things. All right, as far as the rewards go for this, the big 2 rewards, which you're probably going to have to whale out to get, we do have 14 on the Milestone 19 of the T3 orb fragments. Then we have 20 of the T3 orb purple ISO orbs. Then we also have about 700,000 total L3 ions. We got Dark Diamond credits, 1,200 with that final track, and then 3. Why did they put 3 diamond orbs in the Whalestones? This makes absolutely no sense. Like this is like 3 pulls on the penny slots. You're always getting dupes at this point for this. Here's your OG Star-Lord 1 diamond. Like, what the hell, man? This shit should be higher. Because it is a little pull on the penny slots. That can be fun. It could be a big reward, but it's not a whale reward. Anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Let's look at the leaderboards here. It's such a low value RNG hit that it's just like, don't put that there. That's not interesting. They should sell those for $2 a pop now. Anyway. This is our leaderboard. So we do have, this is going to be Gear Tier 20 mini uniques. The top 20 people are going to be getting 300 Mystic minis for both pieces, as well as a bunch of purple ISO. If we go down to top 1 to 3%, 20 of each. We don't know how many mini uniques are going to be needed for a given piece of Gear Tier 20. It's either going to be 20 or 25. I think it's going to be 20 because they would want people in the top 3 to 3%, top 1 to 3%, to get a full piece. They want to incentivize people to push for that. But then it's also awkward that we have multiples of 5 in the leaderboard. So it's like, like multiples of 25, I should say. So is each piece going to cost 25? And if you get top 1 to 3, you don't get a single piece. Either way, let's say it's 25. That would mean that people in the top 20 are going to be able to equip 12 pieces of Gear Tier 20, which is mostly, that's going to be enough for 4 characters. Characters, normally, at least if we go by Gear Tier 19 standards, 3 mini uniques, and then 2 of the down tier, right? It'll be Gear Tier 19 at that point, for a given Gear Tier. Do you think that we can expect Professor X Unlock to happen at the same rate Odin happened? I know you stepped away, but there was mass unlocks of Odin for people in the top 1% at that time. What do you think?
I think what I heard with Odin is it was nice that people actually, when Dark Dimension opened, could play it. A good number of people that you were actually watching people race. And that was the thing with previous Dark Dimensions, like early on, like when they opened, people could go into them right away and do stuff. And then they reached a point where they were like, there's one time where even like the crazy Krakens were like, how do I spend money to start Dark Dimension today? Hello? Is anyone there?
Yeah. I have my card.
So like, I think bringing that back is actually more fun because like people have more of an incentive to be like, I'm actually like can push for this and it is more realistic. Like when you take the goal and you only make it realistic for 5 people or less,
then it's
like then it's just like, then I'm like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, drains all the hype out of that guy for sure. Yeah. By the way, we got top 10 for Odin Unlocked. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, we're not this time. This is going to be interesting, though, and this is going to be a good kind of hype check on Professor X. How excited are people for Professor X? But also, how competitive the top 3% is. Top 3% is going to be around anywhere between 6,500 and 7,500 people. Well, it should be more around 7,500 people. This is going to be a check on how engaged the top 3% still is in the game. Like, we are going to very quickly see how many people are getting characters to 4 yellow stars or higher, how many people are using their cores in the ISO campaign, because this being the first Gear Tier 20 event and people trying to possibly ride on that, what Odin was, that unlock, this could be really good sign for MSF or really bad sign. And I'm curious to see the outcomes. But that's it. That's it for this video. Anything you want to say to the people before we head out, Scotty?
No.
No.
I am not the Eeyore of MSF. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Dorky just makes me do these videos at like 10:30 at night, and I am a little tired.
Listen, if we were in the 100-acre woods, I for sure am Tigger, okay? And you would
Really,
be...
I would put you as Winnie the Pooh. You would 100% get yourself stuck in a window with your butt hanging out.
And it would be your window. So that makes you... he's the only guy I don't remember his name.
I'm the rabbit.
The rabbit. What's the rabbit's name?
The logical person to always be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you guys are so stupid.
Yeah, the logical, a.k.a. grumpy, sassy rabbit. That's what you're... What's his name? Rue is the tiny kangaroo. Eeyore is the donkey. Piglet is the pig. Tigger's the tiger.
It's just rabbit. Rabbit.
It is just rabbit, right?
Yeah.
All right.
There is no name.
Well, rabbit, you have a good night.
Thanks, Pooh.